Mentioned a while back that the way Sean plays can become contagious, and you would hope that it would become more contagious. And I wondered if you've seen it becoming contagious with this team, and if does he need to be on the court before it can become contagious or not?
A lot of contagious questions there. I think I have seen it go through the team. Like in a competitive situation in practice, he's got a knack for really getting guys going, as well as getting under the skin of the other team. And quite honestly, one of the biggest things we've had to work with Jay Sean dating back to this summer was just controlling his emotions, and he's so much better than he used to be. I mean, he was very emotional when things didn't go his way. I think I've seen it on the court a little bit. I think he's kind of brought some guys along with him at certain times of the game that have shown a little more fire, a little more passion because of it. So, yeah, I think it is contagious.
That Shannon got off to such a good start this year, and then, at the Louisville game, I think he sat the last 12 minutes, and he's come back and done some good things since. How did he handle, just being a senior and being in a tough situation on the road, and how have you seen him bounce back?
I'm trying to think if I noticed anything different, which I did not. Obviously we need Shannon to play to his potential in terms of how he helps his basketball team, running the basketball team. I thought in Wednesday night's game he was kind of aggressive in terms of attacking the basket, in terms of his initial push in transition, and defensively he was phenomenal defensively in terms of covering ground and covering the areas he needed to.
Senior, though, on this team, a leader, the first big, huge game you guys have this year on the road. I mean, how tough do you think it was to be in that situation if you're him?
I don't know. I don't think a whole lot about that, just in terms of, I have a certain level or expectation I'd like for our seniors to play at, but I don't sit and pick their brains afterwards. You know what I'm saying, in terms of, hey, how you feeling? You okay? Play better. No.
Just looking at Morehead State, they're 4-7, but some of their game, like UNLV, they only lost by a point.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, they were right there. I'm just curious what you see. And
going to Marshall and winning, and I think they play 11 guys. So there's so many different combinations you can see on the floor. They can play big, they can play small. They've got guys on that team that, as you go through every game that they've played, guys that are capable of having just a huge night. And I think that's the thing, trying to get our guys to understand that system-wise, no matter who's on the floor, we've got to do a great job of understanding this is how we're going to play them. These are the adjustments that we've made, both offensively and defensively, and we have to execute it, because I think you're exactly right. I think this, like the kid, 22, I think it is, I mean, what a scorer he is, tremendous scorer, and gets points a lot of different ways. They got guys that can, shooting a high percentage from three, that sort of thing. So it's, good challenge for our guys.
How much does it raise your eyebrows or raise awareness with a team when you see some of the weird stuff that's, Michigan loses to NJIT and
right.
The Nebraska thing the other night, and all across college basketball? Is that a warning to these guys, or what does it tell you, I guess, about games?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I think, just from the standpoint of on any given night, anything is possible. And I simply state that, we've gone into every game this season and every year I've been here with those types of things in mind, in terms of hey, it just takes a a bad stretch and you're just not able to play yourself out of it, and the other team catches fire and catches magic in a bottle, and yeah, I didn't see either game, so I'm not taking anything away from those teams, but yeah, it's on now. I mean, I don't think that there's any nights off anymore in college basketball, which is proving true.
Noticed a note in Morehead State's notes that they, at least recently, they've kind of prided themselves on rebounding. Is that, as from the standpoint of comparing them to teams you've played up to this point, might this be, other than Louisville, of course, but might this be a pretty good test of how you rebound?
Yeah, I think so, and that's one of the things we've pointed out to our guys, because they, like I said, they're in position with their zone attack, even man to man with what they're running. They've got positioning when the shot goes up, and we've got to do a great job, especially weak side blocking out. But guys they can send at times 5 guys. They play hard.
Next question about crazy things going on in college basketball. A lot of fans might not know a lot of the teams you guys have been playing so far, other than Louisville or Marquette. Is it kind of like, some people get upset when you guys play teams and you win by 50 against High Point, whatever. Is it kind of frustrating for you? I don't know how often you hear that, to kind of like see that when things happen to Michigan and things happen to Nebraska or whatever else?
The question being,
is it upset for you that fans kind of get on edge, why are they playing these teams that maybe they haven't heard of, when in reality anything can happen on any given night?
Yeah, it really doesn't bother me. It does. I had a player the other day, true story, asked me, he said, "Coach, what do you do when people say something negative about you?" And I said, "Well, I don't listen to it." He says, "Really?" And I said, "But with that said, when they say something positive about me, I don't listen to that either." And so it helped him through his hard times, but I think he'll still listen to the positive a little bit more. He's a kid.
Things like that happen in Michigan. Obviously, I don't know if you bring them up to the team. Do you hear your players talking about that?
No. It's funny because Saturday's tip against, was it Colgate? Yeah. We're in. I don't even know what day it is today, but they had NJIT had just won, and North Florida had just beaten Purdue right as I was getting ready to do the pregame talk. And so I brought it up and just said, "Hey, look, here's 2 of our conference schools that just lost, some games." And so I think they were aware of that, yeah.
It is kind of funny, though, that in that same vein, it's the reality of college basketball. It's not like you're the only program that plays that. Every non-conference schedule is pretty much identical, and you've had your major. You never, I know that you have the it doesn't bother me mentality, but is it just weird to always hear this stuff when in actuality you have a pretty strong non-conference schedule in comparison to most other teams in the country?
Yeah, you guys think I listen to and read stuff? I really don't know what you're talking about. Readers
and comments of why do they play this non-conference schedule all the time, and it's
That's why I brought it up.
yeah. It's
Okay, I don't.
It's honestly kind of annoying for us.
Okay.
I don't know if we're more annoyed than you probably, but just to continue to hear that all the time when that's just the reality of the situation, I didn't know. Obviously,
when I got here 11 years ago, they said just try to win, get some wins for Ohio State. Yeah, now we got to pick who we beat, I guess.
Let me ask that from a different way. Yeah. When you guys come out in some of these games and there's 10,000 maybe sitting in the stands, which is, I don't know, maybe almost a little more than 50% full in this big arena out here. Mm-hmm. Is it hard sometimes for your players or for you to get your players up for the start of that game?
We've started games really well this year. I've been on this team dating back to the summer in terms of mental preparation and finding what works for them on game day to play their best basketball. And it's been a constant talking to. It's been constant information to them of ideas and that sort of thing. It's really been this way since I got here, or probably before that. But I think our guys have done a pretty good job, and that goes to doing your job, being unconditional, no matter who we're playing, where we're playing, what time we're playing, play. And I think that's sort of always been what I've tried to hammer home to these guys.
You mean play without the crowd? Or just
do your
Yeah.
do your job. And obviously you go out there and there's 19,000 or something, there's probably a little different vibe, but it is what it is, and we have to play. That's good. And I'm not bashing the crowd, so don't